Hi, everyone. This is Bill Ritter, and you're watching live coverage from ABC7 New York. We invite you to check in throughout the day on our website, streaming app, and social platforms for breaking news, up-to-the-minute headlines, and AccuWeather. And remember, you can always find us on Channel 7, your home for Eyewitness News.
Sorry, but they keep using the service.
America is so.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing? Hello. Islam. Thank you very much. How you doing, sir?
Nice to meet you. Morning, Zohran. Got a gift for you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. How you doing, boss?
Hey, how you doing?
How are you?
Thank you for coming on your fasting.
Absolutely, brother. Yes.
Morning.
Morning. How are you?
Nice to meet you, sir.
How are you? Well, it is such a pleasure to be here. How you doing, my brother? How are you? It's good to see you. It's good to see you. It's a real pleasure to be here alongside Councilmember Nurse, our Commissioner Levine. And I wanted to just say thank you all for having us, and also thank you to Angelos for having us here. This is really an opportunity for us to both get a sense from all of you as to what it has looked like to organize as workers on the job, and also to celebrate Councilmember Nurse's legislation coming into fruition this Sunday, which is legislation that will expand what workers can use paid time off for in our city. We'll expand it such that a worker can use paid time off to take care of a child or a loved one with a disability, to respond to a natural disaster, workplace violence, to even go to legal benefits hearings to ensure that they don't have to choose between their lives and their livelihood. And what the legislation also does from Councilmember Nurse is that it ensures that every worker in New York City gets 32 hours of unpaid leave from the beginning of the year and the beginning of their job. Because far too often being forced to accrue that over the course of the year means you're forced into impossible decisions. And so it's really a pleasure to be here alongside our council member and alongside our DCWP commissioner, who will be charged with doing much of the enforcement around this legislation to ensure that so many New Yorkers who have these rights know that they can use these rights without actually facing any kind of repercussions or repression. Because we know far too often a right is only as good as whether it can actually be exercised, and too many workers do not feel that they can actually exercise it. So it's a real pleasure to be here, and I'll just pass it over to our commissioner.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I think this is our 7th appearance together, and this is another reminder. We have the most pro-consumer, pro-worker mayor in the history of New York City. Today we have another historic announcement to deliver greater rights, greater dignity to workers in New York City. And what this law, which Councilmember Nurse so heroically championed, does is it really recognizes that life happens. Workers need predictability. Maybe your school closes unexpectedly, maybe childcare falls through, maybe there's a snowstorm or a power outage. The goal of this law is to recognize that reality and make sure workers can take the time off they need to take care of their family, to take care of their loved ones, and to eventually to get back to work. In addition to celebrating the passage of this law, which takes effect on Sunday, DCWP, the agency I lead, is also launching an enforcement blitz today. We have sent notices to 56,000 employers across New York City, making clear that they, starting Sunday, need to follow this law. And if they do not, we will be prepared to hold them accountable to make sure that these rights actually are delivered for New York City's workers. In addition to the enforcement blitz we're launching today, DCWP is releasing a groundbreaking report on how we can ensure that workers can actually realize the promise of protected time off. Our report shows that workers in every industry, every job, every background, they use sick leave. So when we see workplaces where almost no one is taking protected time off, that is a red flag. So I am encouraging workers, go to our website, check out the tools, audit whether your workers are actually taking advantage of sick leave. Because I have news for people. If you don't audit, we're going to be auditing ourselves. And if we find that workers at certain employers are not taking sick leave, are not taking protected time off, that is a red flag that the law is not being followed, and it's something we intend to fix. So I want to thank the mayor for joining us. This is a historic announcement. And now I want to pass it on to a real hero for this occasion, Councilmember Sandy Nurse, who's been such a steadfast champion for workers.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And good morning to the Teamsters. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, Teamsters. Celebrating you all, standing with you all. Want to thank the mayor and the DCWP commissioner for supporting this, and to thank DCWP. There's a lot of DCWP staff here who really did the legwork on this, but I mean, the legislation here is really simple, right? Life happens, things come up. The sitter calls out, your mom's sick, your kid's sick, your dog's sick. All things can happen at once, and you need to use the time off. And like the mayor said and the commissioner said, especially at the start of the year or when you're starting a new job, you don't always have time accrued to use that time off, and we want to make sure that people can address things in their life that come up. A lot of people have things like they got to go to housing court, or your SNAP benefits haven't been recertified, and now you got to go down to HRA and spend 3 hours waiting in line, right? Those are issues that happen to everybody, and you shouldn't have to face retaliation for that. You should be able to go handle your business, take care of people who depend on you, and keep your job. And it's really that simple. So this is really building on the work that Gail Brewer did, Councilmember Brewer, who actually did the first paid sick leave. We're just giving over 3 million workers will get an additional 32 hours. And so we're just really grateful that we got to work on this together. Looking forward to doing a lot more. And thank you to all the lawyers and the staff members behind the scenes who worked on this. And thank you to you all for standing up for your rights and for your needs in your workplace.
And you know, I think that the council member said it best in the impossible choices that workers are forced to make, and sometimes it's at a moment's notice. And we would all love to get a sense from all of you as to what this has looked like in your own lives, of whether you've been forced into a choice between your livelihood and your life and the pressures between work and life coming all together at once, and even just to reflect on what it has looked like as workers organizing in this moment, what kind of challenges you faced. So feel free if there's anyone who'd like to share.
Yes, I think it's about time. We need this for a long time. For me, my wife, she was pregnant. She faces a lot of difficult inside the building. So this is about time. If we have that bill at the time, I think it's going to help us, me and my wife, my new kids, childcare. Sometimes I have to be there for her, and I have no time to go to help her, like take her to ER sometimes, to the doctor. And I think it's about time. It's not too late, but thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Very welcome. Thank you, brother. And you were going to add something.
How you doing? My name is James. Currently, right now, I've been dealing with a situation, my family and I. The mother of my children is currently dealing with brain cancer.
I'm so sorry.
Due to the workload that I'm presenting, it's difficult for me to be in so many places at one time. She and I have 4 children together, 7 children total. It's taken a toll on the kids. It's definitely taken a toll on me. But of course, we're all New Yorkers. We're going to push through. It would help if I did have a little bit of extra time at the job where I didn't have to feel a little bit guilty as if I could possibly lose my job by trying not to lose a life and a family.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys being here to hear us, and this is important to us all, and you know, it's about time for the change.
Thank
That's
you.
it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing, my brother. Thank you. Feel free, yeah, please.
Brother, I just want to say our thoughts and prayers with life and what we see to recover for her and support in any way. Just please let us know. But unfortunately, we hear so many stories like this young man right here at JP and other Amazon warehouses struggling with family members' needs and with children with disabilities, parents that, also have health problems. This would be really huge for the working class and especially for Amazon workers and especially for single parents. And I fall into that category where I'm in a generation where I'm taking care of children and my parents. So there's so much on my plate, and the working class is the backbone of New York City. We deserve to be able to take care of our families, to be able to take care of our health. So I really appreciate y'all pushing for this. It means a lot to all of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hello, thank you, Bill, for having us here. My name is Anthony. I'm from DFK Staten Island. The bill itself, I needed this bill to be in effect from 2 years ago.
It takes a while to get a bill through the process.
I literally broke my foot on the job, and there, thing was just happy to take ibuprofen, sit down for 20 minutes, and go back to work. And I didn't know it was broke. And then when I tried to get the time to go to the doctors and everything else, they were like, okay, if you do that, then your APP is about to expire. Threatening my job, basically. And I'm just one of literally thousands that have something similar or far worse. These gentlemen here and everything else. The introduction of this bill is a perfect time, and I want to thank you everybody here. And hopefully that these guys will comply. And at the end, if they don't,
We'll make them.
stick it to
Yeah.
We're going to make sure they comply.
Yeah.
Hello everybody, I'm Michael Levine, another JFK 8 worker.
I love this bill, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'll be honest with you. I'm a single parent also with 2 children with mental disabilities, and I try to take a leave of absence before because my son had to go to the hospital. And they told me, do you got PTO? I told them no. Well, then you can't go, because if you do, like he said, UPT, you get fired. I recently found out I don't have no more state insurance. So I got a nodule in my lung that needs to get removed. And I told HR, like, I need to take care of my health to take care of my family. Same thing. You got PTO? No, you can't go. You know what I'm saying? So I think this bill, not only for myself, but for all of us here, will be beneficial, because sometimes things happen in split seconds. And we need this time to actually take care of our family. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for the bill, and I appreciate everybody.
My name's Jordan. I'm from DBK4, formerly from DBK4, right down the block here, where, in fact, this is where we organized for our first march. We grouped up here and then we marched over there. Made a nice impression back then. I'm wondering, you know, I've been blessed. I haven't had that much personal problems with this myself, but working for a DSP is complicated. You have all these small entrepreneurial, loosely run organizations, and every one of them tries to apply different policies in different ways. You know, some of them want you to call in the day before, some of them won't honor anything unless you call in or arrange a week or 2 weeks before. And a lot of them, including ours, had a problem with if you had an emergency situation in the morning and you needed to cancel your shift, it was a real problem. And if they didn't think that it was justified, whoever figures out what justification really means, then they had the audacity at times to then cancel the rest of your work week or cancel days, so you will go down from 40 hours to 20 hours in a hurry. And I'm just wondering how enforcement can attack that when you have all these small entrepreneurial operators, and you know Amazon has set it up in such a way that it's difficult. It's very difficult.
You know, I think I'll just say one of the reasons I'm so excited to be here also alongside our commissioner is that too often we have extraordinary pieces of legislation that are crafted by council members like Councilmember Nurse. They're voted on, they're passed, and then they're not actually implemented. There is a sense still of impunity amongst a number of employers around these kinds of rights and rules. And in order to ensure that workers can exercise these rights, we have to have an entity that holds employers accountable if they're violating these rights. And so what I really appreciate about DCWP, as the commissioner said, they're not just sending out 56,000 notices to 56,000 employers today and over the next few days. What they're also going to be doing as a result of their own report is studying the use of paid time off at jobs across this city, comparing it to the national averages from the CDC. The reason for that is what they've found is that when you find a job that has low or no use of paid time off, what you are likely finding is an example of a workplace that is holding potential repercussions for employees when they use that paid time off. And so that is an opportunity for accountability. And so this is going to be broad-based kind of information being shared as is happening right now, and then data-driven enforcement and accountability mechanisms so that it's not just up to your employer deciding whether or not something is justified, but rather it's up to it fitting within the guidelines of this legislation. Because when we're talking about taking care of a loved one who is a child or one with a disability or a natural disaster you're responding to, or any of these stipulations, you shouldn't have to both then go through it and then have to argue with someone that it is a real instance of that. And that is where city government should step in. It hasn't always, but now with this DCWP and partners like Councilmember Nurse and the council, it makes that all the more possible. And I appreciate all of you for the organizing, because frankly, the more organized workers are, the more rights that are actually able to be exercised. Please. Yeah, please.
Sorry, I introduced myself earlier. My name is Kathleen Cole. I'm from ALYBC Local 1. But I just want to say how huge this would be for so many workers, especially for Amazon workers, because I can't even begin to explain how arduous and meticulous the process is to take the means to take care of families, to take care of yourself if you have experienced a natural disaster. And in many cases, workers wind up losing their jobs because of this, because the paperwork is just, it's crazy, you know, for lack of a better word. I mean, navigating it, like I said, literally becomes a full-time job and causes so much emotional and mental stress on these folks. So they're not only dealing with, you know, child with a disability in hospital, you know, parent that had a stroke, they're dealing with like running back and forth trying to make sure there's documentation, right? Oh wait, no, it's wrong. Oh wait, no, now you lost all this time, now you're fine. You know, and it's just, it's inconvenient. So this, like I said, this would really be huge, especially Amazon workers, but other workers in New York City that work in similar sectors to us experience the same thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, yes, please.
Hello, my name is Jerome Sloss. I'm a driver at DBK1 Woodside. And I guess one of the biggest issues for me is the lack of time that workers have to themselves. A few months ago, I was in the emergency room. I woke up in the middle of the night with blood on my thighs and heavy bleeding from my groin. Later on that night, doctors told me that it was most likely caused from the stress of heavy lifting. The main thing is I had no time to cover like that week that I was off from work. And I'm still dealing with the balancing act of paying the bills from the hospital, was paying my bills, rent, utilities. So things like this help workers just have more time to recuperate, which I don't currently have, but it's not accruing fast enough for me to recover. So I'm thankful that people like you are representing us. And again, yeah, we need more time.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
Muy buenos días, señor alcalde. Muchas gracias por estar aquí, escuchar a toda la gente trabajadora. La verdad sí necesitamos esas leyes porque hay mucha gente que tiene que ver por la familia.
Good morning. Thank you for being here with the working people in New York. In reality, we need this because we are all working with families.
La única diferencia es que a veces las compañías mezclan los días de enfermedad con los días personales de tiempo que tenemos en la compañía. Y eso es lo que queríamos, bueno, debe aclararse, porque hay días que uno como chofer que andan todos en las calles con lluvia, frío, uno se enferma.
And so the thing is, at a lot of employers like Amazon, they'll combine the personal time off with paid sick leave, so there's not a clear definition of what time you're using. They just roll it all together. And so when you need it for, you know, being out in the cold and getting sick while delivering packages, and then you need it because your child has a medical emergency, there's no distinction at Amazon.
La cosa, uno se siente enfermo, llega uno a la estación y uno quiere pedir, ¿sabes? Quiero 3 días libres porque no me siento enfermo. Eso es lo que uno quisiera tener más libertad en poder pedir esos días libres de enfermedad.
Yeah, for example, if you're sick and you need 3 days off, you should have the liberty to be able to take those days off without being questioned by your employer and pressured otherwise.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm Matt. Thank you for your support. I'm excited about this because hopefully it is one piece among a growing slate of legislation that is building up the infrastructure we need to actually hold corporations like Amazon accountable. This is kind of about power, because at the end of the day, the issue isn't just we don't have enough time. The issue is time is at the discretion of our employer, of our managers. So I'll tell a little story. Recently, you know, there was a blizzard. Me and a bunch of my coworkers, we had to work through that blizzard. There was a day where it was negative 16 degrees wind chill. And I was sick since like mid-January. Most of the people I know have been sick since like, you know, at one point since January. I had no sick time. So I went in, I worked 6 in the morning, negative 16 degrees. It was so cold that my car key, my van key, the battery froze. And the van was locked, so I literally could not get into my van. I called my manager, they're like, yeah, it's gonna kind of be a minute before we can get you support. So I'm out there for like 15 minutes, and I got to improvise. So I use a hand warmer to warm up my van key because I had no manual key, and that actually resuscitated it, and I was able to get back in the van. But the consequence of that is I've been coughing my lung out, you know, the whole time today, and that's because of being exposed to the cold in days like that. That's one issue, is being sick. The other issue is scheduling inconsistency, which again gets back to the discretionary issue. So Ahmed and I, we're fasting for Ramadan. We can't, for example, if we ask our manager, can we get put on morning shifts because it will make it easier for us? They'll say that's up to Amazon. And they'll keep kicking it back and forth between each other. Even when we were trying to organize, when we had our blitz to go public with our union in December, we're trying to coordinate signing cards, we're trying to coordinate a march on the boss. Managers know that, or not managers, it's not managers, it's Amazon knows that. So they're switching people's schedules around so that we know people's usual schedules, and now all of a sudden they disappear and they pop up somewhere else. So it's like trying to organize in a pinball machine. You know, even when we tried to do the March on the Boss, we tried to coordinate getting a large group of people. It was extremely difficult. We had to make a chart where each person's potential schedule would be, and it could just disappear at any moment because the managers know that. So putting restrictions on discretionary changes in schedule and, you know, basically giving power back to the workers over our own schedule not only helps us take care of our lives, but it also is crucial to us being able to organize successfully. So I appreciate you guys for this, and I hope we keep rolling with more legislation like it. Thank you.
Ramadan Kareem. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much. It's really, really been a pleasure, and I want to say thank you again to our council member for having us here and for pushing this legislation through. Because we know that in this city and in politics, having a good idea doesn't mean it's going to become law. You have to fight for it. The council member fought for it, and now we're going to be implementing it, and then we will continue to learn for how we can show up for workers in this city, because I think, as you said, this city is built on the labor of working class people each and every day, and yet so many working class New Yorkers are being pushed out of this city. And we have to look at every way we can to protect New Yorkers and to ensure that they can afford to live a life in this city. I don't know if there's anything you'd want to add.
No, I want to just again thank you and thank DCWP and staff, but also just listening to all of you just reminds me of what we're here to do, right? This is what city government is supposed to be doing, and it really breaks my heart to hear these stories where you just can't do what you need to do to take care of the people who depend on you and the people that you deeply love. Like, that's not a city we should accept. And so I'm really grateful that we've been able to push this forward today, and I'm grateful for that study because I know there's a lot of workers out there who don't know they have support and don't have a voice. So thank you all.
Thank you. Please, yeah.
What I want to say that we are all witnessing here is a team and a family of people who are relentless and will not give up. We just want to make sure that the message is getting through, and peace and love to everybody. We have to stick together to make sure that we can accomplish what needs to be done. That's it.
Yes, it is. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, my brother.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Look out there. Thank you so much, my brother. You're the man. Hard to get in touch with these days.
I can't even get in touch with myself.
You keep doing the good work, though. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Give us 1 second.
How you doing, boss? How you doing? Come here.
Come to Staten Island.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Sir, do you have time for a picture?
Yes, yes.
Me and my fellow officer, we really respect and admire
Absolutely.
what you're doing.
We can take a photo, yes. Who's taking it? Yeah, please. Come on.